He literally ran away. Donald Trump ran away from California Governor Gavin Newsom when Newsom took a trip just now from California to Washington, D.C. to try to meet with Donald Trump to discuss the necessary emergency aid for the victims of the fires in Los Angeles, as Trump and the MAGA Republicans promised they would provide to Newsom for the victims of Los Angeles. So Newsom shows up to Washington, D.C. He's ready to go to the White House, and Donald Trump runs away. Donald Trump's like, I'm too scared to meet with you, Newsom. And Newsom's like, you're too scared to meet with me? He's afraid to meet with the governor of California to discuss these pressing matters. Didn't he just meet with like the head of FIFA and got a fake peace prize? And wasn't he holding some weird award ceremony at the Kennedy Center? He's too afraid to meet with the governor of California to discuss emergency aid to victims of the fire, the same way that America always in the past has given necessary emergency aid to victims of natural disasters and other catastrophes. You're too afraid to meet. So Newsom's like, okay, well, can we meet with Kristi Noem, the head of the Homeland Security Department? No, she's too scared to meet with you. Okay, can I meet with the head of FEMA, whoever that is, because the last guy left and the guy before that left? Can we meet with FEMA? They don't want to meet with you. Can I meet with an aide at FEMA or the Department of Homeland Security or some staffer at the White House so that California can have a voice in Washington, D.C. from the governor's office about why we need emergency aid and why it should have been provided months ago? Nope. Everyone is too scared to meet with you, Governor Newsom. So what does Governor Newsom do? He goes up to an office building or a hotel room nearby that overlooks the White House, and he starts taunting and mercilessly mocking Donald Trump and this pathetic regime. Newsom brings up the Epstein files. Newsom brings up how weak and pathetic Donald Trump looked when he got that fake peace prize. Newsom's like, really? I'm here and you're too scared to meet with me? What a pathetic regime this is. I want to show you what went down in a moment. But first, I just want to remind you, hit subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're close to 6 million subscribers. You know we're under attack from the Trump regime and state regime media known as Fox. They want to shut us down. Donald Trump's MAGA supporters want to shut down. You may think you're subscribed to this channel, but you may not actually be subscribed. So double check, hit subscribe, help us get to 6 million subscribers. So Donald Trump goes up to this complex that overlooks the White House, and he starts taunting Donald Trump. He conducts this incredible interview with my friend, Jack Cocciarella. You probably know Jack. I worked with him starting, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and it's so great to see him doing such an amazing job. Shout out to Jack Cocciarella and his YouTube channel and all the great work he does. So Newsom goes up, and Newsom starts looking at the White House, and he's like, all right, let's talk about the Epstein files and how Donald Trump mishandled that. Watch what Newsom says as he overlooks the White House. Here, play this clip.
And then when Elon Musk said he's in the files, I went, oh. And then all of a sudden, Pam Bondi's like, what files? And Trump goes, why are we even talking about this? Like, whoa.
Quite frankly, it was a hoax is what he said.
Right? Yeah, and I'm like, now I got to pay attention. Mm-hmm. So I don't know I just don't trust them.
Yeah.
Do you trust the DOJ?
No.
Not to say we've just initiated another 35 investigations, so now we have to redact all that information per the legislation that Congress had just passed. Come on, you trust these guys for a damn second on this? I mean, this is a masterclass in effing something up.
And then Governor Newsom talks about how when he arrived in D.C., he met with senators and Congress members from both political parties. But he said Trump was the one who was too scared. FEMA was too scared. Kristi Noem was too scared. Watch what he says. Here, play this clip.
Here's what's remarkable. Came out to Washington, D.C., have met in a bipartisan manner with United States senators from both parties, which has been amazing. FEMA refuses even to have a staffer meet with the governor of the governor's office to talk about relief for the American people. We would have the backs within a nanosecond of the people in North Carolina, the folks that were torn asunder in the floods in Texas. But the politics, the rank politics, is likes of which we've never experienced in U.S. history.
So strange for Mike Johnson in his state of Louisiana to be the person who was initially playing politics with all of this.
I couldn't be more proud on behalf of my state to have had his back in his district of Louisiana and not even think twice about the fact that he voted a different way or represents a different point of view. When it comes to the universality of the human condition and people struggling and suffering, that's just, there's no room for politics. And again, it's the spirit to which I went to see the president on the tarmac. It's the spirit to which I went back to the Oval Office, was right there. I think it was the first governor, Democratic governor, after he got elected again, to visit with him. It was 3 hours in the White House, 90 minutes in the Oval Office on this topic, among others. And it's an open hand, not a closed fist. But right now, they have no interest in engaging.
And then Governor Newsom just starts mocking Donald Trump while this is taking place by rolling out these memes. He posts this one right here. Why is he sitting like that? And I guess state regime media known as Fox was mocking the way that Governor Newsom sat during an interview at the New York Times deal memo conference. And Newsom shows that he's sitting right on Donald Trump as Trump is begging for mercy. Governor Newsom then posts that Newsom was awarded the inaugural Kohl's Peace Prize that comes with $50 in Kohl's cash. He then posts the following. Terrific night accepting the first ever Kennedy Center Peace Prize. Audience was amazing. Chairs not great. Lighting disaster. Trump and janitor Rick Grinnell let the whole place go to hell. I told them as Trump dozed off, rename it the Newsom Center. Only I can fix it. Crowd went wild. People fainting, crying, speaking in tongues. Even RFK Jr. was so moved and inspired by me that he grabbed tweezers and tried to take out the brain worm. A historic night for America. You're welcome. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And in response to the news that was taking place yesterday, that the White House was rolling out a $12 billion farm package, Governor Newsom writes, good to see the White House finally admit what everyone else has known all along. Tariffs are taxes on America. Now, while Governor Newsom was mercilessly mocking and taunting Trump for being so pathetic that he was too afraid to meet with Newsom, what was Donald Trump doing? Well, he was acting pathetic and cowardly. Donald Trump was running around and pacing around the White House, yelling that he can't appoint anybody. He can't appoint the judges that he wants to appoint. He can't appoint his United States attorney. He's yelling about blue slips. Watch what Donald Trump was doing. You can see the contrast here pretty quickly. Here, play this clip.
Hey, Jeff. You know I cannot appoint anybody. Huh? I can't appoint anybody. Everybody I've appointed, their time is expired. And then they're in default. And then we'll
So you've got some positive breaking news on the climate front, and you're going to want to hear this. It's a reminder of why it's so important that we all stay vigilant. So scientists with the EU's Copernicus monitoring service report that the Antarctic ozone this year was the smallest and shortest lived since 2019. So it maxed out at about 21 million square kilometers in September. That's far smaller than last year's, and then it closed early. They're calling it a reassuring sign that the ozone layer is steadily recovering thanks to the global ban on ozone depleting chemicals put in place by the 1987 Montreal Protocol. This is a concrete example of what happens when the world actually works together. You start seeing real progress, real healing, real results. NASA even ranked this year's hole as the 5th smallest since 1992. Scientists say that the recovery is on track, even if we still have a very long way to go. But here's the flip side, and it's why we cannot take our foot off the gas. While the planet is showing signs of recovery, the Trump administration is working overtime to reverse this progress. Trump has declared a war on clean energy, forcing clean energy plants to shut down across the country. That means lost jobs, higher energy bills, and a deliberate shift back to dirty, polluting fuels. The U.S. did not even send a delegation to this year's COP30 summit, so the world is moving on and embracing the clean energy revolution without the United States. The path to solving both the climate crisis and affordability problems is the same: embracing clean energy, investing in green technology, and keeping the pressure on leaders who want to drag us backwards. This ozone milestone is a reminder of what humanity can achieve when we act together, so let's stay engaged, stay informed, and keep pushing for a cleaner, safer, and more affordable future. Remember to tell me what you think about this report, the climate, energy, whatever is on your mind in the comments below. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Okay, Ben, back to you.
By the way, while this was going on, as you overlooked the view that Newsom was looking down at, you see the area where Trump's building that golden ballroom where he recently fired the architect because the architect did not want to make it this big and the architect thought it was looking incredibly ugly. But you can see that the golden ballroom space is basically going to be 3 times the size of the White House, maybe even 4 times the size of the White House. It is so utterly pathetic and grotesque looking. Going back to Newsom's interview with Jack Cocciarella, you have Newsom also saying that Trump sold out your generation, Jack. He sold you all out, and China's now taking the lead. Here, play this clip.
And that's why one of the worst damn decisions this guy has ever made, and why Ronald Reagan, whose poster is right there in the Oval Office, looking down appropriately on Donald Trump, was selling you out and selling the next generation out on alternative fuel vehicles and rolling back, as he did just yesterday, the vehicle fuel standards. So you're going to pay more at the pump with worse technology, and China is going to clean our clock. Markets, supply chains, influence, they're flooding the zone with new technology, battery stacks, etc. And we are simply going to lose that economic race. It is not about electric power, it's about economic power. And so those are the kinds of things that infuriate me on behalf of my kids and grandkids and the competitiveness of this country. If you want to be America first, then you double down on innovation and entrepreneurialism. You double down on the future of our legacy automobile companies like GM and Ford. You don't let them off the hook so they can double down on stupid and try to pave over an old cow path by trying to recreate the 19th century.
Then Newsom talks about how there is no Trumpism without Trump, that it's just one massive cult, one massive grift. Here, play this clip.
No, there is no Trumpism without Trump. It's a cult of personality. Rubio can't keep it together. Vance can't keep it together, period. It's not an ideology. I mean, so no, it's about Trump. It's a great grift. That's all this is about. It's the great grift. I mean, the level of corruption, the crony capitalism, the state capitalism, that's what this is about. They can't operate at that level like Trump. They'll assert, they'll attempt to perhaps, but they cannot keep this coalition together. And you've seen it fraying everywhere on the Fuentes side of things, the Tucker side of things, where Shapiro's now emerging, how they're losing a lot of the podcasters. I mean, this thing is, you're seeing it corrode everywhere. And there's no capacity for any of these other people to hold that together, in my mind and estimation.
Newsom goes on to talk about, again, overlooking the White House. As Trump was too scared to meet with him, Newsom talks about how Trump's assaulted our institutions. He's like, oh, by the way, why aren't we talking about the fact that Donald Trump is a aider and abetter of narco drug traffickers like Juan Orlando Hernandez? Here, play this clip.
Independent thinking. I think everything that has one thing in common is the assault on institutions of independent thinking. The absolute assault on the integrity of institutions that have helped, bear witness to the greatest middle class in the world, and one of the most extraordinary experiments in democracy that mankind has ever known. And so, no, I think it's all of the above, and it's the sum total. He has a remarkable capacity of digging out and create the next controversy. I mean, the idea that we're not talking more about President Hernandez and the pardon of one of the great drug dealers and drug runners, and that impacted more lives in more ways on more days in the United States of America. At the same time, we're saying it's all about fentanyl, or at least about cocaine interdiction in terms of these assaults on the rule of law and on the lives of these folks that are out there with no due process running drugs, allegedly. It's absurd, the whole thing. But you don't even have an hour to stand witness to one conversation debate, because he immediately moves the needle to the next. And so what my effort in terms of what I'm trying to do is put a mirror up to that and try to continue to come back on all these things. That's why the Patriot site. That's why that Patriot site's not just about knee pads, about many other things. It's about the grift. It's about the corruption.
Newsom was also making posts saying that Donald Trump was aiding and abetting narco terrorists, which Donald Trump is indeed doing that. Because then Newsom says it's about the rule of law, not the rule of Don, and we need to bring accountability back. Here, play this clip.
Yeah, it's about the rule of law, not the rule of Don. It's not about the law of the jungle. I mean, and that's what we're submitting to here. It's the, and I look, I believe in due process. That's the difference. These guys don't.
Sure.
It's ready, fire, aim, as opposed to ready, aim, fire, literally, not figuratively, in the context of Hexet and some of the accusations that have been made there. So we believe in due process, and we believe in that right, and that frame and reference. But absolutely, it's all about it. It should all be about accountability. And no one's above the law.
Yeah.
It's no thrones, no crowns, no kings. Yeah. Look at the grievances, the 27 grievances that were in the Declaration of Independence. Read the grievances that many of us are asserting today. 249 years ago, a lot of similarities, my brother. And so I'm just saying this with love and respect. I hope people understand that we need to respect, I think, a little bit of our history, our proud past, at peril that history will not continue, and we will be rewriting a history in a dark chapter that no longer represents the best of the founding fathers.
And then Newsom talks about how humiliating it is that Donald Trump was too afraid to meet with him, but was giving himself fake peace prizes in the process. Here, play this clip.
I do it for a little parody, but I also do it with intensity and purpose, and that is to express my disdain. I mean, we will have a country that's simply unrecognizable if people don't have the courage of their convictions and stand up. It's not good enough to say one thing in private and to do another in public. I thought it was a total embarrassment today. Even FIFA came up with this peace prize.
Did you see the building they renamed after him too?
Yeah.
It's the Donald J. Trump Peace Institute.
This is embarrassing. But it's like, how humiliating for that organization that they did that. How humiliating is for foreign leaders to give the President of the United States a crown. Is that a metaphor? Is it a prophecy? How embarrassing it is to watch some of those powerful people in the world, the most well-connected and wealthy, sell out because of Donald Trump and sell our country out in return. And so I'm just calling that out. And again, it doesn't make me popular. It's not trust me, a popularity contest. I love FIFA, by the way. I'm not trying to offend, and I'm grateful they're coming to our state. It's not the point, but their state of mind that they feel they have to do that to our dear leader for this regime. In the United States of America, we're supposed to represent something better.
And then finally, as you have the Department of Homeland Security too afraid to meet with Gavin Newsom, but posting "You're going ho, ho, home" with a photo of ICE and Border Patrol agents in front of military vehicles terrorizing the migrant community, Newsom gives the following quote, citing Matthew 25:35. "I was a stranger and you welcomed me." Do you remember when Donald Trump went to Los Angeles and after calling him new scum and new scum this, new scum that, Governor Newsom was there on the tarmac to greet Donald Trump. Donald Trump was then too scared to do anything. Newsom gave Melania a kiss on the cheek. Remember when that happened? And now Donald Trump too afraid to meet with Newsom when Newsom heads to California. So utterly pathetic. Great work, Jack Cocherella. Great work. Everybody hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.